Our ECMA adventure first started off on Wednesday when we went up to the car to Fredericton. There we were listening to all the different artists who were going to be at the ECMAs, and we just started jamming out in the car.
It was an amazing experience, truly.
It was.
Yeah, and so I guess once we got to Fredericton, we pulled up to the convention center where all the passes were being given out, and we met Tennille. Tennille Godspeed is the marketing manager for the ECMAs, and was truly, a delight and a pleasure, and one of the highlights for us, I think, because, she helped us not only get there and get our tickets and stuff, but she also helped us organize, set up interviews, and she was just overall a kind person, and she, loved to see us work and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, and while we were there getting our passes, we actually interviewed her about the ECMAs and kind of her story with music. So we're going to go and take a look at that. When did you start working for the ECMAs?
It's a little bit of a roundabout story. I had a very small contract with ECMA back in 2013. I was the marketing coordinator for 3 months. And then I went off and did many other things, and I came on as marketing manager last January. So a year and 6 months if you combine all of that together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. What other things did you do before?
I've been in this industry for 10 years, so I've been doing a whole host of festivals over the last couple of years. I worked for the Halifax Jazz Festival. I worked for Nova Scotia Music Week, Halifax Pop Explosion, and then I moved to Toronto for a couple of years and worked for some big festivals out there too.
That's awesome. So it's basically all just music you worked on?
Yeah, almost exclusively. I did a couple of, I called them my retiree years when I thought I didn't want to be in the music industry anymore, and I could never make it more than a year outside of the music industry. I had to come immediately back because there's just something so special about it. So I've done a little bit in charity work or a little bit of like design agency work, but mostly festivals.
Yeah, and what do you think is so special about music?
Oh my gosh. I mean, music is a universal language. Mm-hmm. You can stand in a room with a group of people and say nothing and feel everything. There's just so much community and joy and beautiful experiences that you can have with music, and it can bring you out of a bad mood. It can, lift your spirits. It can create atmosphere that nothing else will create for you. I mean, if you watched a movie without music, it would be weird, right? Music is integral to who we are, and arts is integral to who we are and how we express ourselves, and it's just a beautiful thing.
And what was your favorite part about working at the ECMAs?
Basically that. It's no joke. It's a lot of work, but when I get to stand at the back of a room and see people have that experience and see the artists give their energy and the audience give their energy back, I mean, nothing beats that. That's the best part, 100%.
Yeah. Especially when artists perform live and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yeah. But even like watching you guys this week, meeting the artists and the artists being so gracious, and you folks having this connection, and you came together because of their music, but you left because you left as friends. Yeah. That the music brought you together, but it just made you stronger when you got to talk about it and experience it together. And I don't know, it's cool.
What's a special moment that stands out for you at the ECMAs?
What is a special moment? I mean, watching you guys do what you do has been really special. I'm not even kidding. I'm not blowing smoke. I think it's been really incredible to see people so engaged, young adults so engaged into what we're doing and so interested in making our artists feel loved and seen and heard. And I think that has been absolutely glorious. And this is the first one back in 2 years, or since 2019, right? So just seeing people and seeing people and everybody seeing each other again, and chatting and hugging and laughing and crying and all of that kind of stuff. Like that has been, the music is great and the events are great, but people seeing their peers again and young adults being involved in what's happening, those are, bar none, those are the best.
And so then after we got our passes, throughout the rest of the day, we kind of attended an opening event.
We then went to the Patsy Gallant concert, which was kind of the kickoff event at the ECMAs. And there was this video of us, our first time ever using our media passes, and it was such a cool experience. You know what I mean? We felt like we were in charge. We felt like we were important. We felt like, you know, we were meant to be there. And I mean, Patsy Gallant, once again, she is an icon. I mean, I don't know how else to describe her. Her music was phenomenal. Her singing was phenomenal, and the vibes were great, and it was a great way to start the weekend.
But the real kind of adventure and the thing that really started it off for us was the red carpet.
Yeah.
And that was on the Thursday. So we drove up and got our passes on the Wednesday, and then on the Thursday was the day of the red carpet.
Yes, there we interviewed a ton of different artists, special guests, and industry people. And also, one of the highlights, the mayor of Halifax was down there that we got to interview.
That was pretty cool.
It was. And there we had our own section kind of to ourselves. So there was us, CTV, and then there's also CBC beside us. And there was a couple photographers that were with ECMAs that were taking photos of all of the artists who were coming through. And there we got to interview them, and it was a blast.
Yeah, it truly was. And, you know, seeing the smiles and delighted faces of the artists and the people we were interviewing, because we asked such, I guess, surprising questions. Like, they really didn't expect to be asked such, you know, monumental questions about their life and their experience. They were like, whoa. And it was cool because after every question, they said, you know, wow, that was a great question, or whoa, you know, and they really thought deep, which was great. And they were full of like emotion and adrenaline because they were about to go into the award show. And so the answers were raw and they were real, which was great.
Yeah, and a big thing that surprised me on the red carpet is that the interviews we got more time to take the interviews, which I thought that it would just be go, 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 all the artists are going, we only can ask one or two questions, but we actually got to go deep with it and ask like sometimes like 3 to 5 just questions that they could answer.
Yeah, we got like almost a solid 3 minutes out of everyone.
Yeah.
Except for that one guy who got like ushered out because CTV was like, we're filming, get out.
Yeah, that's true.
No, and it was awesome because, you know, I've never experienced something so, I guess, fun and where I felt so alive. And it was almost like it solidified in my mind that, you know, journalism is where I want to be and where I want to go. Doing those type of events, really something I think I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. I don't know about you, Liv, but really like the moment that red carpet started, I felt, you know, alive.
I saw that in your eyes. and then after the red carpet, kind of all the artists went into the award show, we got ushered down to a little media center where we got to see all the artists who won the awards. They went into that media center, got a little photo with them. So we got to kind of interview them, but, you know, most of the artists that we had was the artists that we already interviewed that won. So we kind of just stayed there, saw them, like the ECMA people doing their work, which were taking photos of the artists who won. And we also got to interview one of the ladies who was helping us prepare and giving artists for us to interview. So we got to go and interview her.
Yeah, my name is Maggie Daly, and I am an event planner, but I'm here at the ECMAs as the operations assistant and as the media assistant.
So tell me, Maggie, why did you decide to volunteer and help out with the ECMAs this year?
I don't know, I've always been really interested in music. I did choir and band when I was younger, and I just think East Coast music is such a unique style, and well, it's a whole bunch of styles, really. But I just think this is a great event, and I really wanted to be involved.
Is this your first ECMAs?
This is my first ECMAs.
Yeah, what are your first impressions?
I think it's pretty cool. It's a lot busier than I expected, but I think that's a fantastic thing. This is also the first year back since COVID, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's been great.
So just finally, what do you think makes East Coast music so special?
I think what makes East Coast music so special are the people who make it, and the collaborative kind of vibe we have going in the East Coast. We're all very close. We're all very welcoming and like happy to work together and to see each other. And I think that just makes for a really great group of musicians. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, thank you, Maggie, so much.
Thank you guys.
So it's 8:30 in the morning. I get a knock on my door. It's Mr. Legg. And I'm half awake. And he says, we need to go now. What are we doing? I don't know. So I had the quickest shower I've ever had in my entire life, literally 5 minutes, which is a record for me because normally I linger in the shower. Yeah. But quickest shower, got dressed, got down. We were interviewing Yvette Lorraine. And it was so funny because he got the email right at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so we were just recovering from the red carpet and we were all like, okay, let's sleep in. So I didn't set my alarm. And so anyway, getting this knock on the door was such a shock and a surprise because I was so ready to sleep in. But oh well, it happens. And anyway, so Tennille had messaged that and the interview was for 9 o'clock. So we had like half an hour to get ready, get dressed, prepare our questions, and go.
Yeah. So I was actually fortunate enough to interview Yvette. She was a lovely person. She really gave us the confidence because she was our first sit-down interview of the whole week. She really gave us our confidence to go into the other interviews. And she had amazing responses, and she was just all around amazing. And we got so deeply connected with her with that interview, and she loved the interview so much that she actually invited us to an invite-only concert, or I guess performance.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, and it didn't sink in really until we got the message from her that said, I'm gonna be late. It's like, what? This huge artist from out of Newfoundland messages us, random kids from St. Stephen High School, hey, we're gonna be late. And that's really kind of when we realized the impact of kind of what we were doing and the connections we were making, they're real. And that's the awesome part, I guess, about the East Coast music culture is that, we're all Canadians, we're all buddies, know? And that's what we call Yvette our bestie now. Like, that's just our little thing. And it was really through those experiences that gave us the confidence. And now, I guess, throughout the rest of our life, whenever we want to go and, cover an event, when we want to go cover an event, we have the confidence now to, go up to these people and stuff like that. Bria was also quite a charm, and it was great to talk to someone who was real, and the answer is just like Yvette, and just like almost all the artists that we talked to that entire weekend, they were just so real with us. And, part of it was the questions and the research and the preparing, but, it just really meant a lot that, these artists aren't just, here to sit down and whatever, okay, let's get this interview over with. They cared, they cared about us, they cared about what we were doing, and they cared about sharing their story, which was great.
Yeah, and then after that, we had a little break on the weekend. We,
a break?
No, it wasn't a break, but, well, there was a day where we just didn't interview anybody. We went to a lot of concerts, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was great to see all the live music, especially, as a musician myself who really missed live music in the world. It was great to, be immersed in, almost every day we were at a concert, and really for me, it was just special, because there's just something different about live music that, you can really connect with, and you can almost feel it, feel the artist's emotion, feel their pain and happiness, all emotions. We're inclusive here at Spartan. No, but I mean, it was seriously amazing to hear live music, and being the first ECMAs since the pandemic, in 2 years, it was even more special. And I think it was almost the feeling of live music and the spirit was almost amplified, for sure.
Yeah, totally. And also the artists, I could tell, were just so excited to go and perform that it was just an overall really great experience with the concerts because the artists were excited, the people were excited, like people were participating when the artists were like, sing along with me, and everyone just
Yeah.
participated. It was great.
Yeah. Dylan Menzies was our favorite.
Yes.
we call ourselves his groupies because like we went to all 3 Dylan Menzies shows. Now, not saying all the other artists were bad, but you know, there's just something special about his live performances.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
He's very funny, and he a lot of the times takes a break. To tune his guitar, but he also just takes a break to talk to the audience, kind of tell them like what his song is about, and if there's an audience member that is like yelling out to him, he kind of like has kind of a conversation with him, not entirely, but like because you gotta get the show on the road, but he talks back.
Yeah, I mean his stage presence is just overwhelming. It's great, and it's just overall awesome.
Yeah, you can tell that he's very confident when he's on the stage.
All right, this is a song about astrology. Nobody writes songs about astrology, I've found. And nobody cares about songs about astrology, I've also found. Does anybody, wait. I'm thinking of the right term, right? Astrology?
Are you talking about astronomy?
No. Astronomy is the real scientific one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about astrology. This song's about astrology.
Science and stuff.
Yeah, no.
So after we went and saw all these artists at about 11 o'clock, we made our way to this private Yvette event that she invited us to.
Yeah.
And that experience alone was amazing. I mean, everything there was amazing. I can just remember every single time we left an event, we were like, wow, and we were freaking out. And it was just like, there's no way it can get better. And then it gets better. Yeah. So anyway, we pull up to this like virtual golf bar and so we walk in and everyone's like looking at us. They're like, what are these people doing here? And we pull out our invite because it's like there was an image and it's like an invite only thing. So we pull up our invite and we're like, here you go. And they're like, oh, okay then. We were the only people with cameras. Then Yvette showed up.
Yeah, and when Yvette showed up, it was really memorable because out of all the people that was there, like she knew everybody there. She was the one who invited them. She came to us and talked to us and was like, oh, I'm so nervous. And that just made a big impact on us. And then she did the performance and she actually mentioned us and said huge props to St. Stephen High School for doing a lovely interview with us, or with me, and filming right now. And that was really heartfelt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really special, especially in front of all these industry people. I mean, it was kind of a big deal for her, really, because she was performing in front of like basically the Newfoundland music industry. You had all the artists, all the industry people sitting there having a drink, watching her. So, and she was, a little nervous. I mean, which is understandable. But to have her say that in front of all those people, and then you thought we had stares before. Well, after that, we had. Everyone was looking at us. Once again, after Yvette performed, she came over to us and hung out with us, which was such an honor to have someone of such talent hanging out with us. And that goes back to, if you watch the Yvette interview, she talks about how her passion is with students. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you can see that. Hanging out with us and dancing. I have this video, and you're looking at it right now of Yvette and I just jamming out to like her producer singing a song, and we had some real conversations, and it was a real moment.
So after that, we went to the hotel, got a good night rest, and then in the morning was the second award show, and there we decided to film some of their speeches because. Yeah, they were being filmed, but it wasn't as memorable because we wanted film for us to go back and watch. And we already had a list of everyone who was going to be winning the award, so we knew that Yvette was going to be winning.
And it was hard to keep a secret, believe me.
Even
though she told us she already knew, but we didn't know that she knew, so we just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard.
A whole confusing thing. Anyway, so we wanted to we wanted to record what her speech and because it's a huge opportunity for her, and we kind of wanted to send that to her. And what we were surprised about, when she was delivering her speech, she actually again mentioned us in her speech, saying a huge thank you to us for interviewing her and just being the highlight of her week. So that was really heartfelt as well.
Yeah, it was really special. It made me cry. It made Mr. Leg cry. Olivia, did you cry?
I did not cry.
How dare you? No.
I felt it in here though.
Yeah, it was the weight of it. Even thinking back, makes me feel emotional. Those are the kind of experiences that stay with you for life.
Yeah.
Huge shout out once again to Yvette for shouting us out. And that was in a room full of everyone. Everyone from the ECMAs was there. All the artists. It wasn't just the newfies. It was everyone. And it was super special. It really hit home for us.
One of the highlights of my week actually was speaking to the young students from St. Stephen's High School. And so talented, such a bright future ahead of them. And one of them asked me, what is your advice for finding yourself as an artist? And we know that's a heavy question. But I think with this award, I would say it's truly not about me. It's about understanding our purpose through other people and being blessed by those around.
Yeah, anyway, so after Morgan Toney got his his award, he went down off the stage. And if you know Morgan and you watch our interview with Morgan, you'll know that Morgan Toney is obsessed with tea.
Pre-performance ritual is me sitting in my hotel room drinking 2 cups of extra large teas.
And so they have like this concession stand for all these, different, snacks that you can have for free, whatever. So he's pouring himself a cup of tea. I nudge Mr. Leg. I'm like, hey, that's Morgan Toney. And he's like, you should ask him for an interview. I'm like, yeah. So I go over, I'm like, hey, Morgan, congratulations. And, once again, in true East Coast style, he was one of the friendliest people. There's no rank of who is the friendliest. Like, they were all equally friendly and nice. But, no, I talked to Morgan. I'm like, interview, and he was like, oh, I remember you guys from the red carpet. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
We're like, what? Morgan Toney, one performer of the year and Indigenous Artist of the Year, remembers us from the red carpet. And it was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And so anyway, he, after he won his second award, he went and he came to us for an interview. And so we talked to him, and at that time we talked to Zamani, and we talked to Joss Rayom. And, we just kind of grabbed artists as they were coming out, because we had set up in the Delta where the awards were taking place, but in like a different room. You can check all of those out on CHCO and on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Morgan Toney has a great presence in front of the camera. He's very humble as well.
Yeah, he's very humble, and he likes his tea.
Yes, he really likes his tea.
And then after Morgan, we talked to Zamani, and Zamani as well, just such a kind, humble soul. She talked about, her life. She was impressed by, once again, the questions we asked, which was very humbling. And it was great to hear her story and her background and how she grew up. Her parents actually, are both ECMA award-winning artists, so she grew up with music, all around the house and, access to all these tools. Zamani really was just so kind, and it was cool.
And a big fashion expert, must I add.
Yeah, she complimented me on my Vans.
Yeah.
That was a moment. So after we talked to Zamani, we packed up, loaded the Volvo, and drove home. And I took probably one of the deepest, greatest naps I've ever had in my life.
Yes, we were very tired after that.
Yeah, and you can tell just, in that ride home, all I could dream about or think about was that weekend and all the connections and experiences that we had. Really is almost an experience of a lifetime, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's nowhere else, in my opinion, there's nowhere else where you can do things that we did at the red carpet. Yeah. Only at the ECMAs.
Yeah, it's just because East Coast is such a friendly and nice place that, especially with the music industry, nobody is competitive. They all like each other, and they want to collaborate with each other, and they want to get to know all the other artists. So there's a lot of just free kind of not free. What's the word I'm trying to look for? They're all kind of like laid back, and they're okay with us going and doing the red carpet as students especially, and just going to all these backstage passes, interviewing everybody. They're okay with that.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, at the end of the week, it really put into perspective for me what a career in journalism could be, what, you know, an honor it is to work in that field, and, you know, really set the tone, makes me think, you know, this is where what I want to do for the rest of my life. So we just want to thank the community for their ongoing support to our program and to our coverage of the ECMAs. I mean, it wouldn't be possible without them. We'd like to have a big shout out to Tennille Goodspeed, who once again set us up and, you know, allowed us to go. We'd like to thank Brilliant Labs, the Town of St. Stephen, the Department of Education, Ganong Brothers, Fundy Community Foundation, and the Government of New Brunswick for making all of this possible. So thank you for watching, and make sure to watch some of our interviews and red carpet coverage from the East Coast Music Awards.
Yep. All on, should we say?
All on Spartan TV.